Lá Fé Pára Cunna Ismis Leanne. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you all. I'm Leanne and today I'm going to be updating you on my reading progress in March. I'm going to be telling you what I have just finished reading, what I'm currently reading, and at the end of this video I would like you guys to help me choose what I should read next because I am spoilt for choice. If you don't know what the Irish Readathon is, it is a month where we encourage you to read more Irish books than you normally would, and I will leave all of the information for that linked down below in the description and in the cards. I will leave my co-host links down below in the description as well, and I will specifically link to a video that Aoife uploaded earlier today that has a bunch of Irish book recommendations from Irish booktubers. So if you're looking to hear more Irish accents in your subscription box, you should definitely check out that video and everyone included in it. On the 20th of March, so this Saturday, we are going to be doing a 24-hour readathon that runs from midnight to midnight, but if you want to do that in your time zone or our time zone, that's completely up to you. You don't need to read for 24 hours, it's just about reading as much as you can within that 24-hour slot. And on Saturday, Aoife and I will also be hosting a live show with reading sprints, which is going to run from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. our time. If you want to keep up with all of the information for that, I would really advise following me on Twitter because it's where I will be updating on these things regularly. So what have I been reading so far? I have been having such a brilliant reading month. I have read so many things that I really enjoyed, and I think every year March is a month where I read so many new favourites. I mean, it makes sense because Irish literature is something that I really gravitate towards, so it would make sense that I'm reading new favourites in this month, but I find just every year it's a really great reading experience for me. I've read 7 books so far. I'm not going to review them in any great detail. I will review them in my wrap up at the end of the month, but very quickly just to whiz through them. I read our group read for this readathon, which is The Henna Wars. Loved it. I read Toffee by Sarah Crossan, who is an author I've read a lot from before, and I read All Our Hidden Gifts by Caroline O'Donoghue. Absolutely no surprise that I love this book, and I am so confident it is going to be one of my favourite books of the whole year. I read Unshut by Una Min Kavanagh, which I think was a really important read. I read Maeve in America, which isn't a new favourite by any means, but I enjoyed listening to this one. I read The Woman Who Stole My Life by Marion, which is exactly the kind of really page-turning, comfortable book that I was looking for. And I just finished A Keeper by Graham Norton, which took me by surprise. It was such a pleasant surprise for me. I finished reading this one yesterday evening and I enjoyed it so much more than his previous book, which I read for the last Irish Readathon. So what am I currently reading? I am currently reading Being Various, New Irish Short Stories, which is edited by Lucy Caldwell. I'm just over 100 pages into this. So I've read 6 of the stories so far, and I think my favourite of them all thus far is the first story, which is called How I Fell in Love with the Well-Documented Life of Alexander Whelan by Yan G. I thought that story was just so good, and I need to find out if they've written anything else because I am obsessed. I've got, I think, 18 stories left to read, so I have lots to look forward to in this one. Only just this morning I started reading The Importance of Being Ashling. I'm literally only like 30 pages into this. But this is the second book in the Ashling series, and it is about this young woman named Ashling, and in each of the books in this series she's at quite a turbulent turning point in her life. At the start of this book she has just been made redundant from her job. I think this is just going to be one of those really like cozy, comforting books that I can just fly through, and I really want to start building the habit of reading in bed before I start work. And I have been saying that for an entire year while working from home, but I do finally want to build that habit, and I think having a book like this, which is quite light, easy reading, could be the perfect book to do that with. And I have just started listening to Good Eggs by Rebecca Hardiman. Again, not very far into this one, it's what I have been listening to while I've been working this morning, but this follows a whole host of characters from a Dublin family, and what I love about the audio narration of this is that each of the different perspectives has a different narrator, which is something that I really enjoy. Don't know too much about where the plot of this one is going yet, but it starts when the grandmother of the family is arrested for shoplifting, and I think a lot of the novel is about kind of the chaos of that family and how eccentric some of the family members are. I'm hoping to finish all of those books in the next few days, so I would love for you guys to choose what I read afterwards. I'm going to give you a very brief overview of these books, like very brief, like one sentence, and I would love for you to leave me a comment down below and choose what I read next. So for my physical TBR, I would like you to choose between The Little Red Chairs by Edna O'Brien, which is about what happens when a mysterious faith healer shows up off the west coast of Ireland and people become quite enthralled by him. Or should I read When All Is Said by Anne Griffin. This is about an older man telling his life story, and he raises 5 toasts to 5 people who have been really impactful in his life. As for what I listen to next, I would like you to choose between Notes to Self by Emily Pine, which is a collection of feminist essays that take a look at a lot of different themes of womanhood, but particularly from an Irish perspective, and The Trick to Time by Kit DeWall, which is a fiction book that looks back on the 1970s and the story of a young Irish woman moving to Birmingham and making a new life there, and it follows, I think, quite a turbulent love affair and also a tragedy. And for my ebook read, I would like you to choose between Hazel Hayes' Out of Love, which is kind of like a rom-com told backwards, so you start with the breakup of this relationship and then work backwards in the story, which I think is a really intriguing concept. Or should I read Where the Edges by Grania Murphy? This one is much more literary. This one is about what happens when there is an accident on a bus and 5 passengers are trapped. The road subsides, the bus ends up in this hole, and the rescue team managed to get 2 people out, but there are still 3 people that are trapped as the situation worsens. And I think it's told from lots of different perspectives: the people who are trapped, the people who managed to escape, and the bus driver as well. So I think this is going to be one that has quite high tension, and it sounds unlike anything that I've ever read before. So yeah, please leave me a comment down below and choose what I should read next. If you are participating in the Irish Readathon, thank you so much for joining us. It means the world when anyone joins in, even if it's just reading one book. I absolutely love to see it. If you are talking about the Irish Readathon anywhere on social media, please be sure to use the hashtag the Irish Readathon so we can make sure we see what you're posting. That's all I'm going to talk about today. I hope you guys are having a brilliant St. Patrick's Day, and I will talk to you in my next video.